Welcome to the reading. This is going to be the most powerful tarot reading that I've done for you so far. I'm going to do a 4-door spread, which is my favorite type of spread. It gives us the most clear and concise picture of what's going on and guides us on how best to help you. So try to stay in the moment and be present and don't think about the past or the future. I shuffle the cards, we'll divide them into 4 sections and then we'll go from there. We can draw more cards as the reading takes its course. Let's see what we have. And I'm doing a neutral position reading today, using all 78 cards. So we have the 4 of Cups, the Magician, the Sun, and the Knight of Wands. So we'll start here, and then we'll go forward. So the 4 of Cups is a male. The cups represent, there are 4 suits in the tarot. The cups specifically represent emotion. Pentacles are the physical, sword is intellect and conflict, wands are creativity. Cups specifically refer to emotion. And the 4 of Cups specifically means that you've been in a state of contemplation and I almost dare to say apathy. It means you're at a place where you're not moving forward or backward, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It means that you've been a little apathetic, and that's not necessarily bad either. It might mean that you're at peace with the way things are. It doesn't mean that you just don't care. It means that you just don't have a strong opinion on what to do right now, and that you're at a contemplative state. You're reevaluating things. You're maybe biding your time for something. You might be weighing your options, and that's a good thing. You'll see the 4 of Cups, the gentleman who's sitting, his arms are crossed, his legs are crossed, he's folding his arms in contemplation. His eyes are closed as though he's pondering something. That's what that is. The 3 cups are below him, and in the air is another cup. It's as though he's pondering new ideas, waiting for them to come to him. This is not a bad card. This is not a good card. I mean, it can be. In some ways you can say it's good. It's a very neutral card, and in my experience, it's never a bad thing when it shows up. So this is not this I'd say for you, it's pertaining to you. It's a positive thing. The young man seated under the tree, just contemplating things. He might be discontented with the moment, but there's always another cup being offered to him from the clouds. So be happy. And then we have the Magician card in the neutral position. I've drawn him for you before. The Magician card represents power, passion, determination, strength, male vitality. He has all the tools he needs at his disposal. That means that that's where you are right now, because that's the position I drew him in. He has all the tools he needs. You'll notice he has the wands, the pentacles, the cups, and the swords all on the table before him. Those are the 4 suits of the tarot. Underneath him are red and white lilies. Those specific flowers also have meaning in the tarot. The lilies represent fertility, abundance, freedom to be yourself. He always has one hand above him, holding the candle, and then one hand below him. He's in a state of balance. Remember the movie The Craft? As above, so below. And above his head is the sign of infinity. That represents just his infinite creativity, the infinite potential that the Magician has. And he's always wearing red, too, by the way. Red in the tarot is all the colors have power in the tarot. They all have meaning. It means the same thing that the Magician in general means: vitality, strength, power, passion, desire. So this is a positive thing for you right now. And then we have the Sun card. So we're going towards the future here as we progress from left to right, by the way. So the Sun card, I don't really have. Let me phrase it this way. Just think of what the sun represents. The sun's everything depends on the sun. And that's what this means. When the sun appears, just it means that light is radiating from it, and you have infinite potential. The sun can represent you, and that's where you might be headed right now. You might have really strong ambitions. You might be in search of love. You might be ready to start new projects. branch off in a new direction at work. That's what that represents. So this is almost always a positive thing. It represents unlimited possibilities, a blossoming consciousness, a bringing forth of new ideas. The Sun is always a positive card. So it tells me that you're on your way to good things, and that whatever you're doing right now is working for you, and to continue doing it. Let me think what else. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say here. There's the Sun card always has the white horse. There's always the red cape with the person riding on it. There are always sunflowers. Sunflowers, think, you know, if it's always a happy flower. It's always facing the sun. Always look to the light. That's how you'll get the answers and the guidance you seek. And don't focus on the dark. You know, the sunflowers, they don't feed off the dark, do they? They feed off of the sun. And that's what this is telling you right now. We'll draw another card in this position. We have the Eight of Wands. So the Wands suit, as I mentioned before, represents creativity. Numerologically, 8 is a number of change, attainment, rapid movement. So you'll see in the card there are 8 wands. They're flying through the air rapidly, and they're flying in a very straight line. They're all parallel to one another. And that's a good thing. So it means that you have ideas, they're good ideas, and they're cogent ideas. They're coherent and consistent ideas that make sense together. And that also reinforces what I said before about you're in a good spot and whatever you're doing is working. You're moving, you're in motion right now. You're like a flight of wands in the open country. You know, you're on the path of activity, swiftness, and an end that I think promises good fortune for you. So continue to move in that direction. If you want to think of it in the way of finance, you could think of it as you're on your way to more money. If you want to think of it in the world of relationships, then think of them as arrows of love. You're doing the right thing, and that's that's where you're at now, and where you're going. And then we have the Knight of Wands. So we just drew another Wands card right before this. So the Knight of Wands, as I said, the Wands represent creativity, and the Knight specifically represents an energy, passion, lust, action, adventure. Oh, something I forgot to mention. These named cards are major arcana cards when they don't have a suit. These are minor arcana cards when they're wands, pentacles, swords, or cups. And the major arcana represent major life states. The minor arcana have to do with everyday things. So it means when I mentioned the Eight of Wands before, it means that on an everyday scale, what you're doing is a good thing. So think, you know, the little things that you're doing. Same with the Knight of Wands. He's a suit card. He's also a minor arcana. So anyway, we'll continue with the Knight. So as I said, the Knight of Wands represents energy, passion, lust, and action. He's a positive card as well. This is overall is a very positive reading so far. I'll draw another card after this, my hope is that the trend will continue. So you know, the Knight, he's on a journey. He's holding a wand, but it's not a war. He's not on his way to war. He's always passing pyramids too, by the way. So it represents a friend, he's not on a crusade. He's not out to destroy something. He's on a journey of goodness, a journey of peace. He's immigrating towards a place of greater possibilities. This is not a night of war. This is a night of peace. He's always covered in, and this is consistent throughout the Wands suit as well. The lizards. The lizards are all over that. I don't know what to call it. His like tabard or his cloak, whatever you want to call that frock he's wearing. Lizards in the tarot represent rebirth, renewal, new vision. Think of how the lizards, they're able to change and transform themselves. They're able to regrow their tails, a lot of species. That's what the lizard represents. It represents the power to transform and regrow. You know, big things can come from small conscious efforts. So think of the minor arcana in the small scale things. You know, it means that that on a small scale, you have a lot of potential right now to transform and bring forth new possibilities. We'll draw another card in this position. We have the Star card in the neutral position. Although they're all neutral, as I said, this is a neutral reading, neutral only. So the Star card, as you can see, there's a woman there standing above the pond. The stars above her, and that's what that is. It means that you can look forward to finding an inner peace, even when you have resentments and doubts in your heart. Think of a shooting star. It can appear for you at any time, and it can guide you. That's what that means in the tarot. This is generally a positive card as well. The Star card, it embodies like the calm after a storm, the abilities to connect with things. The woman in the card is always pouring water. She's pouring water from a jug, bringing it back to its source. She's returning the nourishment she received from others, basically, from another source. Represents the flow of emotions, and you'll see there's the empty vessel in her other hand. Well, it's not empty now because she drew water from it. But it's an awareness that energy flows both ways. She's drawing forth water and also pouring water out. So she's replenishing and also using. So, she's in balance. She has a serenity and satisfaction from finding balance. The woman is also always naked. It represents that she's true to herself. She's open and relaxed. The water represents just the balance of life and so forth. And the star itself represents the bringing forth of new ideas, the radiance. So that's what that represents. This is a very positive reading. It's the star has a certain clarity to it. It's a very positive card, and the whole reading is very positive. It represents that you've been in contemplation. You've had a lot of control over things. You're moving forth to new ideas, and they're good ideas that make a lot of sense. They're consistent ideas that make straight, coherent sense, and you're on a journey on your way of peace and love, and you're going to do something great, and you're going to find yourself in a state of complete balance and harmony because of it. And that's the reading I have for you today, and I hope you're pleased with it. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to let me know, because the spirits, they do tell me much, and I'm always ready to share.